The 2025 Ford F-150 Raptors are still here, and they're pretty much unchanged, but they're still pretty cool. I borrowed this truck from Camco Ford here in West Valley. This truck is available for sale. Be sure to ask for Ken. Let's go and check out the window sticker. At the very top is the description with the colors. And then here's a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause. And then here are all the options. You have the 8038 equipment group for $31,925. You also have the 37-inch tires, which comes a part of this package. The only option on this one is the twin panel for $14.95. Base price is $78,905. And then once you add that equipment group, twin panel, the destination at $19.95 is $114,320. You guys see it over here, the fuel economy numbers. The Ford Raptor R is truly sitting on top of the world. It has no competition, and it's just one of the coolest trucks you can buy today. Now, they could get some competition from Ram because of who's in office, but that's still up in the air. Now, on the front end, when you get a Raptor, you get this wide stance, and that's why this truck is so cool. You get a wide front stance, you get these larger fenders, and you get the fender flares. And for 2024, they did restyle the front of this truck, so it's pretty much a carryover for this 2025 here. Now, down below you guys see you have the rigid lights here. Also a cutout for the bumper to give you better ground clearance. Red recovery hooks. And check out these big skid plates. They pretty much cover side to side, which is going to help with splash too. You can see those front parking sensors, active grille shutters. You have these clearance lights right there. Front camera that has a sprayer to clean it off if it gets muddy or gets a bug on there. More clearance lights on the side. And here is this sophisticated suspension. So you have these internal bypass Fox shocks, and they do have the dual valve setup, and you can see your upper and lower control arms. It looks like you have a steel one. Looks like that's cast aluminum, and then your steering knuckle is also going to be cast. It's kind of hollowed out as well, but overall pretty overbuilt suspension. They do provide a fabric material for the liner there too, and here are the tires. These are the BF Goodrich TA KO2s. I'm shocked they haven't moved over to the KO3s yet. 17-inch wheel, and here's that tire size, 37 by 12.5, and it is an LT tire still. And in case you were wondering about the capacity, it's going to have 2,755 pounds per at 45 psi cold. And this one does have some of the graphics on the side, some of your vents too. And then check out this hood. You have that Raptor R badge right there, more of that design decal. And then here's a side view. I'm not a big fan of the decals. I'd probably just go ahead and delete those if I was ordering my truck, but they don't look bad. You have the high clearance steps down below. They do have a Ford badge right there, and they are stamped too. Here's your mirrors. You have some lighting, cameras, blind spot, and they are heated. And down below, you can see some of the skid plates. That's your transfer case right there. Skid plate for that fuel tank too. And then they do give you a lot of protection for that transmission too. That's a pretty big one here. It's not stamped, however, which I would like to see, and that would make it helpful to clean it out if you get this truck muddy. Here's where you're going to fill up at. And you have the multi-link rear suspension, and you have those Fox shocks, dual valves. No liner on this $115,000 truck. Interesting. Now you guys can see the B-lock wheels too. I do like the design. And you notice how they give you the bolts too on each one. So normally, you don't normally see all the bolts. They'll pretty much give you a new ring here, and then you'll have all the holes that will show for the B-lock tires basically. So interesting there. Now obviously they did restyle these tail lights for 2024. You have the dual exhaust, parking sensors. Notice how the bumper does sit a little bit higher because it's a little bit thinner. They give you the recovery hooks down below here. Raptor R badge. And they do give you a full-size spare tire. That don't look B-lock capable though. 410 rear end with a locker. You can see those coils in the rear. And then here is the bed. This is powered. They still provide this step. I would like a way to delete this because I would never use it. And the truck would be a little bit lighter. A little bit of storage on the side here. You have the bed lights, tie downs. You do have an option to get that spray in too. 400 watts, 120 volt. And if you want to put this up, all you gotta do is knock it out with your knee. But yeah, this is a good looking truck. You know what's crazy? Finding a V8 inside of a truck is truly a marvel today because most of them don't have it anymore. What's even more of a marvel is that this one has a supercharger on it too. 5.2 liter displacement. This engine puts out 720 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque. Now obviously this truck costing 40% more than just a base Raptor. It makes sense why it costs more because it's going to put out what, 55% more horsepower. That's insane. Now as far as compression goes, it's going to be 9.5 to 1. So obviously that's why you have to use 91 or higher octane. It takes 11.5 quarts of oil, and the 3.5 liter EcoBoost is going to be aluminum for the heads and block. This one's going to be cast aluminum for the block and the head. So all in all, great engine, sounds amazing. Here's your stock intake. That's probably the first upgrade I would do because you obviously have to let that supercharger breathe better and it'll get louder. Let's take a listen to it. On the inside of the Raptor R, it pretty much mirrors what you get on the regular Raptor with a 37 package on it. So you have this off-white or really gray piping, orange stitching, carbon fiber, like the accent they give you right there. Now, I did see on the trimmer trucks, they did give you a black speaker grill. I'm shocked they didn't give that to you on this one. That would look really good on here. Here's your Ford Performance badge. And I love this satin trimming that they give you on the seat. Really like that. A little bit of chrome accent. You have a 10-way with the lumbar. Great bolstering with these Recaro seats too. Tilt headrests. And they do give you that V8 badge. Hopefully you guys see it right there on this center armrest. You might be able to see it a little bit better on that side. I don't think they give it to you, but I'll check and see though. But power steering column, more of that orange accent. And you have the grab handles. Now I'm gonna be picky. You know, where's my sport pedals at, Ford? Give us those sport pedals. 8-way seat on the passenger side. And here's that door. You can see that perforated suede right there. And they give you that Recaro badge right there. You can see a little bit better on this seat. It looks really good on this side. More of that carbon fiber. You can see the dash, all soft touch. And the rear. Then they have this that comes down. And they give you that stitching right there in that orange color. Twin panel moonroof. And they give you a 12-volt power, outboard heated seats. You have Type C's and 120-volt plug down below. More of that satin finish right there. Let's jump back over to the driver's seat. You probably noticed I was changing the sound of the exhaust, and you do have those options for the steering, suspension, and that. So let's start with the steering. So you have normal, comfort, and sport. For the suspension, normal, sport, off-road. And for the exhaust, if you want it quiet, it literally just goes away. You don't hear it at all. All you hear is the engine. And then when you go over to normal, it opens up those valves. And if you go over to sport, it doesn't really make a big difference obviously with those, but heads-up display is right there. And 12-inch display, you have that backup camera. And I didn't show it to you, but you do have a bed view camera out back too. And here's some of your controls. They did restyle this at the top, so this is a little bit different. Some of those buttons made its way down here. Here's your locker. You have that 4 auto. Now your drive mode, so slippery, tow haul, sport, normal, off-road, Baja, and rock crawl. So the one you didn't see was eco, because they figured you ain't gonna get good gas miles with this anyway, so no need to give it to you. F-Series badge right there. Pro trailer backup. I mean, that's pointless on this truck personally, but you have your trailer brake. Of course, you have heated steering wheel. Down below, you have that wireless charger with 2 USBs. They changed the orientation of it too, which is interesting. And more carbon fiber. This does drop down. And literally, you can just have a workstation right here. But yeah, overall, this is a nice truck. I have to admit, like, I think I prefer the RHO interior. But man, you don't have that V8 anymore, so this is the way to go for sure. Place for your sunshades, and of course you have the LED lights, home link right there. And let's go ahead and check out the numbers on the door. Gross axle weight rating out front will be 3,900 pounds. The rear is 3,925 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 7,500 pounds. The wheels are 17 by 8.5 wide, and then the axle code is an L4. And all-in payload is 1,327 pounds and 38 PSI for the tires all the way around. And let's just take it on a quick drive. We're not gonna go too far because the truck has no gas in it, so let's just see how it feels. I've only driven one off camera once before this, and they're quick. I mean, having all-wheel drive, it definitely does feel very nimble. It's hard to believe this truck is what? Almost 60-something hundred pounds on the curb. So when you hit it, oh wow. I mean, granted, it's only in 2-wheel drive, but it just breaks those tires loose very easily. And And the tires, I mean, having this 37-inch tire, this thing rides so good. Having the Fox shocks, the softer coils, I mean, on road, it's nimble. Like wherever you point the steering wheel, it just goes that way. And when you go to hit it, jeez, it lays down the rubber. This thing is so fast. You do have the full drive auto, which is obviously going to give you better launch control for it too. But if you just want to drive it normal, like let's just go ahead and kick out that exhaust real quickly. If you just want to drive it normal, have it in comfort mode, it really does just feel like a regular Ford F-150. But ultimately, the cost of this thing is super high. The fuel cost is super high. And for most people, it's just unattainable. But if you have the cash to spend, I mean, this thing is perfect. If you just want a pickup truck to just have as a sports car, this is the real deal for sure.